evening, everyone. Good evening. Have your attention, please. Hello. Kim and I, along with Judy and Jim, would like to welcome you to this special day and special occasion. And we're thrilled that you could join us, and we look forward to a very exciting evening. Pastor Bob today shared a few thoughts on Kathy and a little bit of the story, so if anybody wasn't aware, they heard a little bit about that. But, and Jim on the boat last night at the Groom Dinner shared a lot of stories with Chris and Kathy as well. But I'm going to expand a little bit and just share some of my, the things I think about when I think of Kathy through the years. So I really know this by heart, but I do need to get through it, so I'm using notes anyway. So I just wanted to take about 5 minutes, and as I'm sharing, one of the things I'd like you to think about is, as I'm talking specifically about Kathy, who might be the perfect mate for Kathy as I share some of these stories. So I'd like to start out with, Kathy is and has always been the sweetest little girl, very caring and very outgoing, something we heard last night from Jim as well. And she was never spanked. If we even looked at her with a frown, she crumbled. She has the most tender heart. Kathy really liked to talk when she was little. The doctor's office referred to her as Chatty Kathy. Even at 3 years old, Kathy loved and never feared animals. She always put the worm on her own hook, key point. And virtually every person and every animal was her friend, literally. Kathy was still in a car seat when she would spend Saturdays with me at the junkyard, Menards, or Flea Farm. Another key point. Kathy's first experience with drywall and joint compound came in 1984 in our basement in New Brighton, when I gave her a putty knife and said, "Go at it." And that was the start of her life as we know it today. She was also an accomplished wallpaper hanger by 5. Kathy was a natural athlete, and many of you may not know that, but when she was young, whether she played t-ball or flag football, she really wasn't all that interested in it, but she was a natural. She was better than the other folks, the other girls that played with her. Kathy grew up learning how to change her own oil, fix her brakes, and operate an impact wrench, taking off lug nuts. Another key point. She also grew up honing her business skills, listening in the car to my corporate voicemail long before email was the popular format. When Kathy was in her early teens, she reaffirmed her faith while at camp in the mountains of Colorado. As Kathy turned 16, she had her first boyfriend, Chris Gehrke. Chris was a great kid, and we enjoyed having he and her other friends at the house frequently. Chris and I also did some fishing together, and we had a couple memorable moments. As I look back at all those years and up to that point, 16 years in counting, Kathy was truly, truly the perfect child by anybody's measure. But before the year was up, Kathy went from perfect to, well, more on the normal side. But by now, though, Kathy and Chris were just good friends. She had many. But we still enjoyed watching Chris play football and see him on occasion with her friends at the house. So it was more than just a 16-year-old romance. Chris has always really been a part of our lives. Kim and I spent many hours working with Chris's parents, Jim and Judy, as we prepared for the Edina High School graduation. And that was a great time we spent together. Jim organized many of the construction projects, and Judy kind of did a lot of art and the creative aspects. It was a fun time. Kathy had pneumonia and didn't get to make it through the night, but we had fun preparing for it. But back to Kathy. I'm going to go fast forward past those normal years and jump ahead to age 22 or so. I really had many wishes for Kathy over the years, but my top 5 included, and not limited limited to, but included being healthy, growing up with a strong faith in God, and a third was that she survived riding at 16, something many of us can appreciate. So clearly by age 22, I'm 3 for 3 so far in terms of my wish list. After a few years of college, Kathy began her career in the mortgage business while finishing her degree at night, and given her extremely strong business and social skills, she quickly moved through the ranks into management. So now I'm 4 for 4 because Kathy is truly financially independent, an important priority of mine. But even with all of her business success and dozens of good friends, a nice house and a dog, unfortunately Kathy wasn't quite as happy as she used to be. Sure, work can be a grind, but there was clearly something missing. Imagine our joy. This is the hard part. Imagine our joy when just a couple of years ago, Chris and Kathy found each other again. And the old Kathy was back. Yay. Without a doubt, Chris was the key to Kathy's happiness, and it's been great having Chris back in Kathy's life and reconnecting with Jim and Judy as well. So really, as of today, I'm 5 for 5, okay? I now have the opportunity to turn over primary responsibility for Kathy to Chris. Okay. So, we certainly want to welcome Chris formally into our family. He's kind of always been a part of it since he was 16, and we certainly welcome Jim and Judy and the extended family to be part of ours. So we couldn't be more thrilled. So with that, I'd like to say that it leads us to this very special point in time, and please join me in raising a glass for a toast of congratulations to Kim and I for raising the perfect match. To Jim and Judy for raising the perfect match for Kathy. And to our special kids that we love very much, Chris and Kathy Gehrke.